Will turn even more vulnerable than before the pandemic. I'm worried that the workers will be forced to work for longer hours for a smaller wage. They're quite vulnerable, unlike more rights and more bargaining power. I think fewer workers will be employed but have to work harder. The Thai government has opened selected border checkpoints for a limited number of workers to return home each day, but many don't have the money. A few fortunate ones are able to get find a job. And that's our show for this week. But remember, you can get in touch with us via Twitter. Use the hashtag AJCTC when you do. Drop us an email at hospitaljazeera.net is our address. There's more for you online at aljazeera.com/CTC. That will take you straight to our page, which has individual reports, links, and entire episodes you can catch up on. That's it for this edition of Counting the Cost. I'm Sammy Bain. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. News on Al Jazeera. Respects. As
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Welcome to the Muslim Mentorship Connect Masterclass of today. I would like that we wait till 11:15 before we start so that we give some other people time to join in. We have about, how many people do we have? We have about 26 people here, and we had almost 100 people register. So we shall begin at 11:15, inshallah, so that hopefully more than half of the class would have joined. At 11:15, we will begin, and whoever comes late is late. So please, I beg your indulgence and ask for your patience in giving people more time to join us, inshallah.
Wait. Yes. We're starting with the test. Computer audio connected. I don't hear damn thing. Let me put the video on. No, that's a problem. I can't hear damn thing. And when I plug this in initially, then I remove it. You just plug the device to the yes. Volume. Yeah, I click that. I click that already. And it says I'm talking. Can you see? No, wait. Yeah, pressed.
Okay. Dr. Alabi is here.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Walaikum salam. I
That's
can hear
better.
you.
That's better. Long time. We seem to have a few technical issues this morning.
Well, this is Nigeria.
I've been trying for since 5 to 11. I log on, but nothing was happening.
Oh, okay.
And
But the host is on now.
I've
So,
sent a message to Brother Vikru to let him know that I was having this technical difficulties of some kind. He doesn't seem to have seen my message because it's not replied.
I have called him to ask for you, and he said that you are here. So, mashallah, alhamdulillah. It's good to have you.
Mashallah.
Uh,
Thank you.
Islam. Good
Amen.
morning, everyone. So we have 36 people, including myself and you here. Welcome to the Muslim Mentorship Connect
Let me just.
class. And today, this is me. This is my favorite kind of class, my favorite kind of classes, because today we're talking about soft skills and how we can be awesome with it. Of course, we're very honored to have Dr. Sharif Alabi with us. And we also have Dr. Adeola Kola-Mustapha also around. 36 people, I believe that we're good to go. And without wasting much of our time, I would read the citation and we can have Dr. Alabi start his class. Please, I would like to ask that everyone get their journal and their notepad. This is the kind of class that you want to write things down. You don't just want to listen. This is not just going to be a pep talk, it's going to be very impactful. And the thing about soft skills are that you need to start working on them right away. And you won't remember half of the thing that I said in the class in the next 1 hour if you don't put them down. So please, can we all go get our journals, our writing pen, so that we can take notes and hopefully write things down, make resolutions that we can use at the end of the sessions, inshallah. Another thing to note is that we are going to mute everyone's speaker. So if you have any question or any contribution, use the chat. I'm going to be reading the chat and sharing some of it with the speakers when the time comes. So let's go straight to the business of the day. I will share my slides with you. So today, inshallah, we are focusing on leveraging your soft skills for a successful career. So irrespective of what career you are in, you need soft skills to take it to the next level. You need soft skills to truly be the best version of yourself. And inshallah, Dr. Alabi is going to be taking us through the topic leadership through the power of influence. And later on, we'll have Dr. Adeola Kola-Mustapha take us through self-discovery, finding yourself, and purpose. So we're starting with leadership through the power of influence. Leadership through the power of influence. As Muslims, I like to believe that all of us are leadership material. And so to have someone come talk to us about how we can leverage on that skill to truly make a difference in our world and definitely take our careers to the next level. It's such an honor. Thank you so much, Dr. Sherry, for doing this for us. Thank you. So before we go on, I would like to read your citation, quite short, but definitely
Very
wants
short.
to be read. Too short. And I couldn't find, because this is my new phone. When I saw your citation, I said, no, this is not fair. If on the old phone, I had the one that you sent for the calf at Ibadan last year. And I thought it was long. It was when I saw it and I said, no, this is too short. Where is the cap on? But I'll go find it and read it later. I'm going to go find it and read it later, inshallah.
I wish you didn't do that. Alhamdulillah.
You can't be forming humble here. We need to read every awesome thing about you so that people can know that we have correct people in the house, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, Dr. Dr. Sharif Alabi is an advisor to the London Growth Hub, an ERDF-funded program from the Greater London Authority and the Mayor of London, supporting and advising SMEs across London. But it doesn't just support and advise SMEs in London alone. They also support people in the agri sector, right? In Nigeria and across Africa. So this is a very muted, a very humble profile. And I need to go find the
long one.
The long one. So thank you so much for joining us. You have the floor now, sir.
My pleasure. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Good morning from London. I believe it's morning in Nigeria as well, or wherever you are. In other parts of Africa, will be good afternoon if you're in East. Sharif Alabi, yes, to cut the long story short, I don't usually like to drum my own beats or beat my own drum as the case may be, but generally I've been in this space for nearly 40 years, supporting small businesses, SMEs, and on issues of governance, growth, and development. I do that here in England, and I do that also across parts of Africa. The topic for today, when I was asked to look at this, essentially for me, it's something I think we all find ourselves in at one point or another to lead or to be asked to take charge of a particular task or activity or a project or a goal. So whether you find yourself in any one of these situations, leading means essentially managing resources that you've got to achieve the desired goal. But in doing that, there has to be some sort of structure or framework, which are determined to be the governance structure within which you operate. Now, the governance in this case may deal with the issues of policies and procedures and the process that you have to go through. And in this case, certainly taking your members, the members of your team along with you along that journey to get to that goal or to complete that task or the activity. Leadership by no means is nothing to do with authority or power or command and control alone. And those, yes, we find ourselves in certain situations where we have to use this. But for me, it's beyond that. It's actually about giving guidance and direction to those with whom you're expected to work and complete the given task, but also being accountable and having the responsibility to do just that. So you have to be ultimately accountable and be responsible for the outcomes and the journey and the experience that you take your team members through to get to that goal or that purpose. Leadership for me, therefore, is about having a purpose and communicating that purpose clearly and sharing that purpose clearly with everyone else on your team with whom you're expected to work to get to that goal to complete the task that's been set. Communication is essential, and it means being given the opportunity to be carried along in terms of what is meant to be done, sharing the goal and the objectives that are meant to be met, and the tasks that have been set, and I guess what time deadlines are meant to be achieved by. So it's essential, therefore, for the leader in this case to make sure that members of the team feel a sense of belonging and a sense of participation and a sense of, suspect in some case, a sense of consultation that they ask for their views, they ask for their opinions, they're asked to give feedback on how they're getting on, and so on and so forth. Leadership here also means you being able to delegate to those who you feel have the right skills within the team to delegate certain aspects of the task or the activity that you're pursuing, and being able to communicate and empowering and supporting them to do that which you have delegated to them to pursue. Now, what does that mean? It also means that you as a leader must also be an influencer. You must be persuasive. You must be convincing in your argument. And therefore means putting yourself in the situation you become a key person of influence. What does that mean? It means creating your values, creating your purpose, or certainly recognizing your purpose and your values. It also means that you're able to communicate that and share that with those who are with you. They must buy in into what you're trying to get them to do. Otherwise, without that, it could lead to all sorts of chaos. Going somewhere without a clear purpose will get you nowhere. You'll be going in all sorts of directions, but not necessarily where you want to be. So having that purpose is important. Communicating and sharing that purpose is important, and having the drive, the passion behind that purpose to make sure you stay on course and stay focused to give the right guidance and direction both to yourself and to the members of your team. Absolutely crucial. That for me, I think, is a key message there that I want to share with you guys this morning. And it's also being able to, I suspect, in a way, have a plan of some sort, whether incremental or whether broken down into certain defined tasks, set of tasks for individuals to perform, or having a goal that you plan to determine at which point of arrival you've achieved those goals or those set of activities. That's also very crucial. And it means sometimes that you may have to adopt certain types of leadership style in terms of the way you manage or lead the group towards those set goals. Now, some say you could be democratic, perhaps fine. And we don't know what democracy means, giving everyone a voice. Sometimes that doesn't always work the best. And you as a leader will still have to be the one with the right courage to take the decisive action when it becomes necessary. Certainly, some will say authoritarian, that doesn't always necessarily work. But in some situations, you may find that that is the only option left to you. But you cannot be seen to be using one style all the time, given that your team members who have different capabilities and level of understanding, you want to try to get them to buy in. It shouldn't be by compulsion, but be by consent. And if they consent to what you're trying to do, you have that sense of belonging, that sense of purpose, and that sense of seeing where they can make an impact or contribution to the goal that you set to pursue. That is essential. The consent brings agreement, agreement brings ownership. So they have to have that sense of ownership in the role that you're setting them to pursue. Beyond that, I would say certainly, therefore, if you want to lead, first you must learn to follow as well. So you cannot just be the leader. Sometimes the leader also become the follower. and sharing the skills that you have in leading, but also in following. Following means following the person who is in charge at that moment to share the goal that they've communicated and to be able to buy into that goal and see where you can contribute to the determined outcome. For me, that's also crucial. Styles of leadership, again, vary. Sometimes it could be finding yourself in a coaching or mentoring position, again, because maybe members of your team that may not necessarily be pulling their weight or perhaps don't have the right skill set to do so. So you may find yourself not only leading them, but coaching and mentoring and supporting them as well to make sure that they are effective in their roles. What does this all mean? As a leader, you have to have certain qualities. One, to influence people. One, you have to make sure you have the sense of authority to influence. You have to determine what your value is and see that people understand that and can relate to that. Therefore, they could see you as a go-to person when something is needed to be done. Uh, that also means, therefore, that you have to be clear and keeping your value simple and clear to communicate that, give authenticity to that level of authority and influence as well, that your team members can buy into it. But it means creating that point of vitality, that you become the vital person. And almost to say without you, it cannot be done. But that is not necessarily the case, but it's basically recognizing that you are in a unique position that for something to be pursued, certainly you have to be consulted or you need to be consulted, etc., etc. I hope we're all still with me. It says the connection is not stable. Mutia, can you hear me still? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, sir.
I
We
can
can
All
hear
hear
right,
you.
you,
okay.
sir.
Because I saw a message, on the screen saying connectivity is unstable, so I want to make sure I'm not talking to myself. Um, so essentially
Okay,
that's what we want to
I
try and
can
do.
hear you.
So again, it's about creating your own brand identity, your insignia. What are you? Who are you? And as your name pops up, what does that conjure up in the minds of people? What do you represent? What value do you represent that people that can see you as an essential, vital person to come to, either for guidance, for advice, for support, etc., etc. That's what it means. It's about creating that value. It's about communicating that value. It's about establishing your areas of presence, of expertise rather, and recognizing one, your strengths and your weaknesses, and staying within your area of expertise and your strengths, and to try and avoid imposter syndrome. So don't try and blab through it if you don't know. If someone came to you and you don't know, you don't have to assume that you know you can help them. What you could do the best is actually, well, I cannot help you on this occasion, but I could probably try and find somebody else who can help you. And that's also a special skill of a leader, to recognize their own weakness or where they don't have the right skill set, so to speak, as a tool, but to help somebody by signposting them or referring them to someone else. That's very important. Having the courage to continue in the program that you've set, and that's what the plan, having the courage to stay focused and bringing everyone else all along at the same time along that journey to make sure everybody is playing in the same team, pulling for the common purpose towards the common goal is crucial. As a leader, you have to have the passion. As a leader, you have to be able to facilitate conversations and facilitate your team's effort. As a leader, you have to be open. You have to be open and be honest as well, because if you're not honest with yourself, you cannot be honest with your team members. And if you're not honest with your team members, they will not necessarily understand what is expected of them, let alone be able to pursue that. Let me pause there for a second if someone wants to ask any question before I continue. Can you hear me still? Hello? Have you muted all
We
speakers?
can hear you, sir.
Right.
We can hear you, sir.
Any points to raise to this point before I carry on?
I have asked that they drop their questions as it comes. So
Right.
none has been dropped so far. When it drops, I'll
Right.
let you know, sir.
So no questions for now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can I throw one at the audience that are listening to me? Have
Oh,
you
please.
ever has anyone found themselves in a situation where they're asked to lead on a project or to lead a team or to take charge of a particular task or activity? And if that is the case, how did you do? How did you approach it?
So for those of us listening, the question is, have you ever found yourself as a leader of a project or any activities at work, and how did you cope with it? How did you do? So somebody said, Somebody said, I have found myself in such situation. Thank you, Miss Brother Vikro. Sister Vikro, apologies. So how did you do? Okay, Sister Fadila said, I did not fare well. That she didn't do well. Could you expand more on what went wrong? Sister Vikro, apologies. Dr. Alabi?
I'm here. I'm waiting for
sir.
them to. I'm waiting for the questioner to respond.
Okay, should I keep reading on?
Yes, please do.
Okay, so we have Sister Zikwa said that it wasn't easy. I had to learn from my predecessors. But the Yunus said he has found himself in that position and he had challenges, but eventually overcame them. And from Sister Ikma, okay, so Sister Ikma is not talking to you. And uh, Sister Kalim Lai, or is it brother? You have a question, please drop the question so that he may attend to them. He can attend to them. So far people have found themselves in that situation. However, they had challenges that they were able to overcome. Could you please share with us some of those challenges? So Brother Vikram said, at the end of the day, I was able to achieve 80% of success and I learned new things. One key thing I learned was never to say you can't do something because it is new to you. Thank you. Brother Soliu says that I have learned, I found myself in a position several times, and I have learned it is a continuous learning experience. Wow. Sister Fadila, Sister Fadila has something interesting here, that she ended up carrying out the project herself.
Right.
Why? Sister Fadila, why nobody turned up? Dr. Sharif?
Yes, I'm waiting for her to respond to your question.
Okay, sir. Those are the responses I've gotten so far.
Okay.
So Sister Fadila said it wasn't easy and she ended up carrying out the project herself, by herself, probably without her team. And another person said it is always tough the first time, but you get better over time. As Sister Fadila said that she lacked the basic skills, and for this reason, no one actually did what she said. So for Brother Nuruddin Muili, the challenge has always been facilitating conversations within the team. He mentioned identifying areas of strength with leader. What can one of those areas? So you have a question, sir. The question says, Dr. Alabi.
I'm here with you.
Dr. Alabi, can you hear
I'm
me,
here.
sir?
I'm here. Yes, I can.
Okay, so somebody had, okay, so there's a question for you here. They said you mentioned identifying areas of strength. If those areas of strength seem desperate, how can one harness seemingly unrelated skills in a coherent leadership outlook? I don't understand. I can't, desperate, I don't know what the word is, but I'm assuming that his areas of strength may particularly not, I don't know, I don't want to make assumptions. Any assumption here. Please,
could you ask that person to repeat the question?
But Kalim La, please could you explain in layman terms for somebody like me what you mean by your strength seems desperate? But Nasrah said that it is not going well. Because at one point, my team members are willing to contribute, and at another point, they just lay low without saying anything. It could last for a week or more. I end up taking majority of the decisions and executing it myself.
Right.
But
Let
the
me pick up.
Yunus
Let me
Ibrahim,
pick. Okay, go on.
oh, okay,
I was just about to pick up on a
pick
couple
one
of
last
those
one.
points quickly. The
Okay.
the sister who said she ended up doing the whole thing herself. Was that because the team members absolutely refused to, or is it because they didn't understand what was expected of them? Therefore, was it a communications issue?
Okay, she did admit that she didn't have the leadership skills required to motivate them. So
Okay,
it could be communication, it could be confidence. I don't know.
okay. Could sharing the project's goal or the project's purpose with them at the beginning, could that have helped them to understand what the intention is and what was expected of them individually?
Hmm. Okay, so Mr. Padilla, that's a question for you. Did you share the project goals with them? Did you what's the word now? Did everybody know what part they were supposed to play from the beginning? Or you like always we just assume that people should know? I think a lot of us
Right.
do that. We just assume that. Why wouldn't they know now? Why wouldn't they know?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so that
Because
could be the case.
quite often the problem isn't so sometimes the problem isn't so much with the individuals. Quite often the problem is a lack of understanding of the purpose or the intention, and therefore a lack of understanding of their role, what is expected of them. That's fine. Sometimes they do understand, but then they don't have the necessary toolkit, the necessary skill set. Therefore, it's another part of the role of the leader in this case to identify the individual members' capabilities and only assign tasks to those who have shown certain capabilities. But if they needed additional support, then you identify that as the leader, the areas where they might need additional support to empower them to do that which is expected of them. And as I said earlier, the whole purpose of this is about getting them to buy in into the idea of the project or the program or the task. So you cannot achieve anything by compulsion. It has to be by consent. Consent leads to agreement. Agreement leads to ownership. And where they can lay ownership, they can see where they can relate to you personally. They can understand what is expected of them, and they can probably also perceive what their likely contribution or impact to the project, to the program, to the task could be, and therefore commit themselves to doing just that. But if they don't understand it, or they don't have the right toolkit, the skill set to do it, and they're not sufficiently supported to do it, but just be expected to do it somehow magically, then it will not happen. And as I said earlier, that could lead to some sort of resentment, could lead to all sort of confusion, and could lead to acts of sabotage. People who deliberately want just not want it to succeed because somehow they seem to be left behind simply because they don't have the capabilities to do what is asked of them, and because they feel they're not being supported to do that. We have to look at it from both sides, both as I said earlier, both in terms of those who's leading and those who are meant to follow. So in order to lead, first you must learn to follow. So if you put yourself in that follower's shoes for a moment and then try to understand from their point of view, what is it that is holding them back? Assuming you were that person, therefore, what sort of support would you expect? What sort of support, additional support would you need? And what sort of things can be done to encourage you to get yourself up to that road of that task to pursue it? That's what I'm talking about, which is why I said earlier, in order to lead, first, you must learn to follow. Because if you put yourself in that situation, the job becomes a little easier. I think one of the brothers put something on the screen that said earlier that the actual goal, the project goals or task became the motivating factor for him. He found it challenging initially, and I can't remember if you see have it there, Mutia. Somebody asked
Huh?
that question specifically. Somebody asked a question specifically. One of the brothers said he found it challenging initially, but going back to the set goals and objectives kept him going, became the motivating factor to keep him going because he knew he had to complete those set of activities to get to the end result.
Okay. So the question, I have a question here, and it says, when do
Mhm.
you draw the line between influencing and sounding overly authoritarian, considering the fact that everyone on the team should have an enabling environment to speak up and contribute? Okay, so Sister Fadila is agreeing with
Okay,
what we said earlier, that she did not share the goals with them. She just assumed
right.
that they
That they
knew.
knew. Right. Mm.
And somebody
And
also
that and
asked,
that and that and that is where the problem comes, because to assume necessarily doesn't give us what we need. If, even if you
exactly,
thought they knew it, it is usually also useful to clarify that with them, raise a
yeah,
point, just to tease them out, to check them out, to make sure that you're on the same page, that your understanding is their understanding, if that makes sense. So when you have mutual
okay,
understanding, that is where communications becomes effective. If one person understands it one way differently from the other, that communication is not effective at all, and you not get the desired results. It's as simple as that. So sharing is very important. Continuous, constant feedback is also important.
okay. So, Brother Plato, or whatever, says that as a follower trying to lead within required skills, but the person in position of leadership denied the idea because he sees himself as a leader. How can such follower deal with the situation? So I believe he's asking that he probably brought an idea forward and the leader is not taking the idea, and
Mhm.
he's asking how can he deal with it. That's the second
Okay,
question I have.
okay. So if you suggested something and the person in charge, and I'll use that carefully, the person in charge of the team, the person leading the team or the project, doesn't buy into your idea, you ask yourself, are you convincing enough? You ask yourself, have you made the idea simplified sufficiently? Is it clear to yourself in the first instance, and is it clear to the other person with whom you're trying to share it? Perhaps they don't go along with it because it is not simplified for them to understand it, or it is not clear in your communication, or even more importantly, you have not demonstrated where that idea will contribute to the specific goals that have been set. If you're suggesting something be done, or the leader cannot see where that helps the overall purpose or the goal, then they will most likely not want to buy along, carry it along. Rather, I'm buying to it. So before you suggest something, it's important to make sure you can at least relate it to one or two specific areas of the set goals task. Does that answer his question?
I believe so. I believe
Is
so.
he with us? Is he with us? Let's ask him.
Mr. Plato, did that answer your question? Another thing, sometimes it could be that his idea too does not align with the goal of the project.
Yes. Which is why I said, unless if you cannot demonstrate where that idea will contribute to at least one or two specific tasks of the project, then it's most likely be seen as a possible waste of time or waste of valuable resource, other resource for that matter.
So it doesn't mean that the leader is being arrogant. Thank you very much,
No.
sir. Okay, so
Yes.
can we answer the question of the person asking for to draw the line between influencing and sounding overly authoritarian?
Um, right. So two different things. To be authoritarian means you're shutting everyone else out. You're not open as a leader, and it means you're not welcoming of anyone else's idea or suggestion. You simply have a task and you just want them to get on with it, and that's it, without question. You're not open to being challenged. Um, a leader must be capable of accepting criticism as well as being challenged. You just have to see where the positive sides of that challenge may be, and if you don't think it's in the best interest of either the team or the project or both, then you can maintain your stance as a leader. So being authoritarian completely means not welcoming anything other than what has been said, and you just expect your team members to go along. Influencing, on the other hand, means you being able to put across a suggestion, an idea, or even assigning a task or delegating and explaining what is needed to the person you delegated to or you're suggesting the idea to, and being able to persuade them to buy into it and to do or perform that specific task. And that's why I said earlier, influencing is not the same as leading. There's a crossover between the two, but to influence, you have to put yourself in that position of being seen as a potential influencer or a key influencer or a vital person that must be listened to. One that is recognized for their value, one that is recognized for their expertise that other people can buy into. That's what it is. So they're not quite the same thing. You cannot be authoritarian the same way when you're trying to influence at the same time. It doesn't work, right? Does that make sense to that brother or sister who asked that question?
Yes, I believe so. Okay, so we have a few questions. However, your time is running out. You have about 5 minutes to round this off. However, we would come back afterwards, after Dr. Kola-Mustapha is done.
Okay.
Panel question. So I would note all your questions and ask you then, inshallah.
Okay. And what I was going to say, following on from this, it's a subject we can probably have a whole day session on. What I've not bothered to delve into the usual theories of leadership and what it is and what it isn't, and what school of thought may be right and what school of thought may be wrong. There is no right or wrong approach when it comes to this subject. It's all situational and context bound. It's a matter of what purpose you have at hand, and it's a matter of the environmental context within which that purpose must be pursued. So we bear those two in mind. So there is no right or wrong leadership. What is right in one situation or in one environment may not necessarily be right in another. So let's bear that in mind. That's my key message there. And as I said earlier on, to lead, first you must learn to follow. Because if you put yourself in the follower's shoes, you can hopefully empathize and show some sense of humility. That's very important. At the same time, having the passion, but also show some sense of humility along with it. Find where it is necessary to recognize individual or even the overall team's achievement or performance and communicate that and praise that and reward them for it. Yours is to continue to encourage them to stay on course. For me, perhaps being a team player is crucial. Being an influencer is very crucial, and being able to make decisions to solve problems, recognizing conflicts and being able to find solutions to those conflicts. I think in the brief I had, it says something about dealing with unruly subordinates. Uh, we don't tend to use that word over here much more anymore. Everyone is regarded as a colleague, right? You're my colleague, I am your colleague. Okay, there may be some levels of seniority, but overall we're colleagues, so we don't use superior and subordinate, so to speak, not as often as it used to be used traditionally in the management schools anymore, because we all belong and we're all supposed to be working towards the same common goal, at least in terms of the overall common goal for the organization or the project in this case. Then therefore we're all members of the same team. You could actually find yourself working cross-functionally across other teams as well. So that is why it is crucial to be able to recognize individual strengths and behavior. Behavior, we say, begets behavior. What you dish out is what you will get back quite often. And sometimes the predisposition in this sense, the attitude sometimes could generate the wrong forms of behavior that the individual do not want to project. And it's up to the individual who is in charge, the one leading, to be able to recognize those undesirable or unwanted behavior. One, recognize it to understand where it is coming from or why that individual has exhibited or projected that sort of unexpected behavior, certainly, and empathize to some extent and try and encourage them to stay focused. And if they needed additional support, have that as private conversation. One thing you don't do is discuss individual weakness in the team. If you find a particular individual within your team is either resentful or lazy, to put it mildly, You don't bring that out into the open. That is something you discuss on a one-to-one with them to find out the reasons why perhaps that individual may not be pulling their weight as much as you expected them to. Have I still got 2 minutes, or is that it?
Oh, you've got it.
That's it
You
for
have
now.
you can add 2 minutes more. You can add
2 minutes more.
anything.
Okay. Okay. If there's anything to take from this session so far this morning, I'll say clearly have a defined purpose as a leader. Communicate that purpose and let your passion drive you towards that purpose. Let the passion be displayed in you, be projected to your team members so they can hopefully share in that passion and therefore use that to pursue the same purpose you've set yourself. Communicate purpose, reminding, because reminding is good for them as often as possible, and getting and sharing feedback constantly is also important. Getting consent and agreement and showing some sense of humility and certainly some sense of honesty is important. So don't, like I said, don't try and say, yes, I can do it. Somebody asked a question earlier that actually, if you're asked to do something, don't say you can't. Yes, it is true, but be honest to say, I don't know how to do it, but I can try, or I can learn how to do it, or I can find out. Yeah, so can't is in itself dismissive, and it's I suppose in a way self-limiting. So rather than using can't, say I don't know. There's nothing wrong with saying I don't know how to, but I am willing to learn, or I am willing to find out. If you rather not say I can't and then you say yes, and then people start saying yes means you've set expectations, and then people will be looking to you to perform to those expectations. Rather say sorry, I don't know, because you're not a even when you're still an expert in management or in biology or botany, etc., you're still not the best person in it. Certain aspects of it might be very good, the other parts of it may not be so good. So say no if you don't know, but yes, I can find out, or I am willing to learn, or I would rather somebody else take charge of this particular area because I'm not too comfortable with that one, or I'm not too conversant with that one. That's fine. As a leader, you're not expected to know everything, but at least show that you have the capability to lead in most of the areas of the purpose that's been set. How are we doing for time?
Mashallah, Jazakallah khairan. Sir?
You're welcome. And I was asking how we're doing for time.
Well, your time is up.
Alhamdulillah.
Your time is up.
I hope it's been useful, but I will
It
stay
has been
on.
very insightful.
I'll be staying on for the second part with Dr. Kolawole.
Kola-Mustapha.
Yeah,
Kola-Mustapha.
Kola-Mustapha. Great. I'll be staying on for the second part with her, and in case there are any other, because I want to learn as well, because I don't know everything. All right. So that's rule number one.
I believe that you should stay on because the topics are quite linked.
Yes.
And you've talked about strength, you've talked about trade, and she's coming on to talk about self-development, about
Yes.
self-discovery.
Self-discovery.
So a number of the questions that you've asked will be merging into our conversation, and then could be leading to more questions for you. I have noted your questions so far, and people are saying Jazakallah khairan, and I am saying it on behalf of everyone. It has been very insightful, very, very insightful.
You're most welcome.
And it is a reminder that benefits. Thank you so much. And for everyone here, for everyone listening, if there's anything you will take away, definitely it is understanding that leadership is not easy. A great deal of it is communication. You cannot just assume that people know what to do. You must remember that I particularly like to say, who no. Somebody has gone to primary school, doesn't mean they know. They didn't go to your primary school. They didn't get your job description. They don't see it the way you see it. And the only way they can truly be influenced by you or by your leadership is you communicate it with them. So we're going to come back to that conversation later on. So if you have any questions on Mr. Abubakar Yako, please mute yourself Thank you. So
Actually,
if you
not
have
the
any
story.
questions on the
Actually, not the story.
conversation with,
My mistake. Now, kuna speaker not the. Actually, not the story.
Brother Ziku,
I swear.
Mr. Sikiru, please help
No,
me
no, no,
mute
no.
Mr.
Actually, one
Yaku.
minute.
If you have any question regarding what Dr. Sharif has talked about, please
Oh,
drop it. I am noting the question and I am making a list of them so that they can be asked during the panel session. So please drop your question as they form. So we move on quickly to the next session to talk about self-discovery. Yes, he has been muted now. Apparently, everyone is muted as they come into the meeting. So it took a while before Mr. Baka was muted. I believe that at the beginning of the session, I was so into getting it started that I didn't remember to introduce myself. But because my name is written in full and everyone can see it, I thought that's fine. But my name is Mutia Olagoke, and I am part of the admin for the Muslim Mentorship Connect, and I am honored to be moderating this program today. And so far, it's been looking good. I've learned so much. My notepad is full. I hope yours is full too. May Allah bless the knowledge for us. So we move quickly to the next section. So let me share my slides with you. So that, okay, Dr. Kola-Mustapha is waiting. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Good morning. Is it afternoon over there? Good
Afternoon
morning.
already.
It's 1 minute to afternoon in Nigeria too. So welcome. You said that I shouldn't read all your bio, but today is not your lucky day. I like reading bios, long ones. So I'm going to read it. Okay, so Dr. Adeola Kola-Mustapha is going to be talking about self-discovery. You've taken notes from Dr. Alabi's session. You can relate some of the questions you have about yourself and your leadership strength. You can definitely, inshallah, find answers from this session. And whatever questions you have along the way, please drop it. I will note and will ask at the end of the session. So Abayo, we move on to our profile. Bismillah. Dr. Adeola is a visiting lecturer to the College of Pharmacy, Al Faisal University, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. She's currently on research projects focused on drug delivery, characterization of pharmaceutical materials, pharmaceutical drug development, etc. She has over the years taught pharmaceutics with in-depth passion, dedication, and excitement while facilitating knowledge transfer to our students with compassion, determination, and patience, bearing in mind that each student possesses a unique academic achievement level. Dr. Mustapha is currently a senior lecturer in the Department of, I believe, Pharmaceuticals in the University of Lorraine. She has a postgraduate diploma in education from the University of Lorraine and a special PharmD degree from the University of Tunis. There's still more. she has held different positions in the faculty, which include acting head of department and examination officer of pharmaceutics, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, and industrial pharmacy, coordinator of the Department of Pharmaceutical Microbiology and Biotechnology, and the faculty research manager. So we would start. You have the floor, Ma. So please welcome Dr. Adeola Kola-Mustapha talking to us about self-discovery.
Thank you, Coach Adegoke, for that. Olagoke, for that kind introduction. Can you allow me to share my slide, please?
Okay. Actually, that should be done by Mr. Zikullah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. قال رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. While I wait for while I wait for Mr. Salami to allow me to share my screen, I have a simple exercise for all of us. I want you to get out your sheet of paper or your device, and I'm going to ask you one simple question. You're going to answer it in just 1 minute. Are we all ready? Are we ready?
We're ready, ma.
Yes. So can I share my screen?
Please go ahead, ma. You can share it. Go ahead.
So I'm going to ask you, everyone in the room, to write something on the paper. I'm going to ask a question and you answer in just 1 minute. And my question is, who are you? Your time starts now. Who are you? Looking at my timer. I want you to write it down. The time is ticking, and I know you're writing stuff. I want to also say thank you to Dr. Alabi for giving us an expose on the leadership topic. The topics are intertwined under the basic theme of leveraging your soft skills in your career. Yeah, the time is almost up. That's the teacher in me. Yeah, the time is up now. So put down your paper, your pen or your pencil, and then let's go on. So we'll be starting with importance of self-discovery. Then the requisite soft skills to improve your career, practical tips on finding yourself and purpose. What if I'm clueless? Maximizing your purpose in your chosen career. Then the final part is the parting shot. So what is self-discovery? It's simply who you are. So finding your purpose in life, identifying your abilities, then leveraging on those and abilities and developing them. You also have to recognize your passion, what you love doing, what comes naturally to you, what's innate. Then self-discovery itself affects your success, your happiness, relationships, your progress and quality of life. And that's why we have to pay attention to discovering who we truly are. Then creating paths you can pursue to elicit fulfillment and being a gift to others. Because by the time you find out who you really are, you can then make others better. You can only pour from your own full cup. You can give only what you have. So self-awareness invariably leads to self-actualization. So basically, we talk about soft skills to try to differentiate them from hard skills that you learned maybe by form of training in school or just along the way. But I'd say these are the personal traits you need to have to turn your raw talents to flourishing talents. And they include emotional intelligence, being able to work as a team and collaborate with others, being creative and thinking out of the box, solving problems, being innovative, and then of course, leadership that has been talked about by Dr. Alabi, your time management, how you're able to kill your deadlines, how you're able to communicate effectively, how you're able to adapt to the environment or whatever is going on, the current trends, then your negotiation skills. Let's go through the 4 practical tips you'll be needing at this point to find your purpose. The first one is self-realization, then the discovery of your creative potential, then development of that potential, then deploying that potential for the benefit of mankind. So let's start with self-realization, where you have to do self-evaluation. That's where you apply self-questioning and examine yourself, your thoughts, your words, your actions. And that will make you find who you truly are. Now, let's look at being in our quiet moments. In your quiet moments, we can relate this with the times of the Prophet ﷺ when he used to self-isolate himself. He used to go to the cave of Hira. That's where he was away from the crowd, trying to reflect. And that's where he got his first revelation. Even with the current pandemic, we can see how we were all forcefully locked down. And then most of the time, I'm sure a lot of people have been able to come up with germane things about themselves or rediscover themselves. So in your quiet moments, you need to really be in a quiet area, maybe late in the night, maybe you have to go somewhere else, then brainstorm on who you are truly. So knowing your inner self is knowing your purpose, your values, and your visions, your goals and motivations, and what you truly believe in. So you need to differentiate between who you truly are and not who you want to be. So those two things are different. Who you are normally and what you want to be. They are two different things. We are human beings, we are infallible, we are not perfect. It's only Allah that is perfect. So you need to identify your strengths and weaknesses with the goals of self-improvement. So how do you discover these creative potentials? I'm going to ask you questions which you have to ponder on. And the first question is, what inner skills do you possess? What is that natural that just comes to you naturally? You need to be able to answer that. So what major dislike propels you to prefer a solution? So maybe there's something you really don't like or hate or something, and you want to make a change. Maybe you're someone that is a stickler for a clean environment. You don't like dirty environment. You could consider having a cleaning business. You could consider having a laundry business. So there's so many things you don't like people using inorganic stuff in their cooking. You could look at teaching and training people how to cook with organic components or natural ingredients. What ability can you showcase? Do you have any ability you want to showcase, like teaching, like training, or helping others to achieve their potentials? You should put that in the spotlight. What's your passion? What do you enjoy doing? What do you like doing? I'm a foodie. I like everything about food, how to mix and make nice meals. That's your passion. It comes to you naturally. So what is your own passion? And then how do you get creative with that passion? Then another question to put that on is, what aspect is holding you back? You can recognize your passion, but something is holding back. What is holding you back? Is it fear? Do you fear that you may not succeed, fear of failure? Well, it happens. It happens. If you don't stumble, you wouldn't get back on your feet. Do you just make up excuses? Oh, I can't do it. People are doing it. How am I going to do this? And you keep making excuses. You need to hold back on those excuses. And then do you procrastinate? You don't do things on time. I'll do it. I put it off for later. What you can do now, these are things that can hold you back. Are you full of negativity or self-limiting thoughts? Oh, I'm never good enough, or things like that. You need to progress to being positive about yourself, believing in yourself. You need to believe in yourself first, because before others will believe in you. Do you lack focus? You quickly get distracted and you're doing 2,000 things at the same time? Do you lack seeing the big picture? big picture, we all need to dream big. You can dream big and then, of course, start small. So these are the things you need to look at, because most of the time, the things that we think is holding us back is just in us. So we need to move a step ahead and step beyond holding ourselves back, and then leaping forward for action. So what experiences are you leveraging on? What are the things you've done in the past that people have said, whoa, this is you, that mix was superb. That thing you put up was really great. Can you do this for us again? So what are the experiences that you've done before? What have you done before in the past? That's been, oh, so nice, and then everybody wants to, align with you. So can you link your passion with serving humanity? Whatever you're passionate about doing, can you use it to better the environment? Can you link it with your creator, your Rob? Because we're spiritual beings. Whatever we do, we still need to link it with our purpose. And our purpose in life is to serve Allah. Can we still link that with serving Allah? So what is important is that you know yourself and you align it with your purpose in life. Then let's talk about your why, your values, your passion, your purpose. Those things are unique to you, your satisfaction, your fulfillment, your calling, your true self. What's good for the society? Because at the end of the day, what your why should be beneficial to the society. Then we have tried to do self-realization. We've discovered that thing we're passionate about, our purpose. How do we develop this creative potential? Yes, the first thing is knowledge. You need to get the requisite information you need to succeed in your, it being something that you do with your hands, something being in your profession, the evolving trends. You need to seek more knowledge to get to where you want to be. You also need to get additional skills, the right skills tailored towards your goal. Then, of course, the right attitude and mindset, your right thoughts, positive thoughts that will make you forge ahead. Then what are the things that motivate you? What are the people that motivate you? I think you have to stick around them because they would mostly propel you to success. Then you need to invest in yourself. You need to invest your time. Investment is not just about the finances, about, getting that time that you need to sharpen your skills. You can also give yourself for internship, apprenticeship somewhere with people that already know the tricks. And then you can use it to sharpen those skills you already have. You need to create your unique personal development strategy. And this goes along with creating your personal development budget, because this is about growth. So you want something that will make you grow with time, and this would make it worthwhile. So you need to take steps to better yourself. It will be challenging, but it's well worth it. After trying to develop your innate skill, the next thing is to deploy the skills for the betterment of mankind and the environment. So what you need to do is to showcase your attributes. You have this unique thing just to you. And then establish your core values, your beliefs, such as integrity, dependability. We all have our core values. So you need to stick to that and establish that. You need to set your personal goals, whether short-term, mid-term, long-term, whether it's weekly, whether it's daily, whether it's monthly, whether it's yearly goals. You need to set personal goals so that you can take them as you go along. You need to establish strategies or plans to achieve these goals. Because you need to put on active plans. How do I want to go about this? You need to activate your plan. Then you need to create something brand new, because creativity is about trying to make, okay, everybody's doing it. Then what would differentiate mine from others? I saw something on CNN in recent times where someone tried to develop a face mask with a pouch. He was of the opinion that he wanted people to be able to nibble when they still have their mask on. But by the time you put it to pose, and somebody was saying, oh, I have my ice cream here. If I put my ice cream on this on this mask is going to mess up the mask. I just yank off the mask. So that's another point. But he already had something he was trying to provide a solution to, and he had actioned it. It could be useful for some things and may not be useful at another situation. So that is why it's important for you to even get feedback from people about what they appreciate about you. So by the time they give you a feedback about what you're doing right or what you're not doing too good, then you can also leverage on that and then try to adjust accordingly. So you have to have a creative expression of your own uniqueness. Then after all I've been saying, you still say, oh, what if I'm clueless? Yeah, if you remain clueless, then you need to reflect on who you truly are, who you really are. You have to be honest with yourself and identifying who you are at this current time, not what you think or others see of you. So you need to excuse all form of denial or pretense, because we are all about, oh, sure, we want what we want people to know about us or see about us. No pretense is about you. It starts with you. Remember, it's only when your cup is filled that you can actually pour out for others. So don't be in denial. Okay, no, I know that I'm here. I'm still trying to perfect this. So be honest with yourself. It's all about honesty, no pretense. So who are you really? If you're still thinking you're clueless, you go back to your Rob. You do istighfar, you do tawbah, you try to it's the quality of the tawbah, of the repentance. You're being sober and asking Allah to actually grant you clarity. Because if you sincerely seek tawbah, of course, it's going to accept it, and then grant you clarity of purpose. Then you need to pray for guidance. Everything you have to do it. Okay, I do what I want to do. Okay, so Allah, show me the way. How do I go about it? What do I do? How do I achieve this? So everything you need to do, even when you start to get better, you still need to put your dua in perspective. Then you need to show gratitude. Oh, subhanAllah, there are lots of things we take for granted. I think even with this long lockdown and pandemic, when our freedom was taken away from us, we were able to even appreciate the fact that roaming about is a privilege. So we need to be grateful. I know people have put up gratitude journals and all, grateful for little things that people don't even have. Gratitude for that special talent you have, because it's a gift. Anything you have, ingenuity, you're very good at this, at that, it's your own special gift and you need to be grateful for it. Then, the most important thing, maybe you're full of clues. You actually have the clue. You're not clueless, but you have not actioned it. You have not done anything to action your passion. So you have to action it by working towards your plans in a constructive fashion. You need to. I saw Mr. Abdulaziz putting up something on the group and saying, "Oh, Mr. Bifarin gave us something 2 days ago on creative design, on freelancing," and he was asking, have you deployed those skills? You've learned an area of skills you have. You're a bundle of talents, but you actually not actioned it. So you need to look at actioning that talent. Remember what I told you about what is holding you back. You need to put away all those excuses and move ahead. Then after now you know what you're doing, you started, how do you sustain it? That is maximizing your purpose in your career. Maybe you're at work, even if you're employed, you're self-employed, you're still trying to find your footing. You realize, you discover, you develop and deploy your purpose in your chosen career. Then you need to reinvent and reposition. You've been doing something the same way. You need to reinvent it and reposition yourself for what is going on in the society. Then you need to be grateful and recognize your work. Well, most of us, we're always very modest about our achievements, but you still need to recognize your work and be thankful for it. You need to focus on your life purpose and what motivates you. Eschew all forms of distraction and then focus, and then you'll be able to get your purpose. Then you need to be flexible and in touch with current trends. That's the Nokia is a good example of a brand that was a bit laid back on being flexible and then keeping in touch in current trends. I know they know better now, and they've keyed into the right technology so that everybody can buy into their phones and technology again. So when things are going on, you need to be flexible. Oh, even in your life, you go, oh, this is where I do my things. I can't change. Oh, I've been doing it all. This was hard. This is how I've been. Even in your marriage, in anything you're doing in your workplace, even with your siblings. Oh, I've been doing this thing this way. You need to be flexible so that and then what's going on, you need to be able to fit in. And then you need to be consistent. Allah loves consistency. Even when you do it little by little, once you do it all the time, you get better at what you're doing. Then you also need to showcase your skills. I know you're very good at putting up statuses on your Instagram, on your WhatsApp, on your Facebook. You showcase your portfolio, what you're doing currently. That would make people know what you're doing and then buy into your product or services. Then you also need to be able to take risks. Life itself is a risk. So if you take risks, only the risk takers get the benefits of the risk they take. Then you need to assign personal performance metrics that really matter to you. You need to be able to measure yourself. Okay, I've done this. Am I getting it right? If I'm not getting it right, what else do I need? How can I tweak it to be better? Then you also need to mentor and coach and help others. By the time you help others, you would also be polishing your own skills. You'll be a benefit to mankind. You'll be helping people. You'll be putting people up. You'll also be fine-tuning your own skills. Then you should be able to network with the right people that will get your work forward, that move your services forward. Then you also be able to influence too, because it's all about networking these days. And ultimately, you should be able to be disposed to adding values to others, because that's exactly our main purpose. So what would I be leaving you with this time? Remember, we started with the exercise, who are you? I want you to go back to your notebooks now. With all I've said, I want you to write again, who are you? Maybe you've got some clarity now. If you still don't have the clarity, you can leave the questions I'm going to ask you, write them down, and then ponder on them in your quiet moments. The next question is, what makes you you? That's your uniqueness. What makes you you? The next question is, what support is required to achieve your purpose? So what are the other things you need to make to succeed? What's your own unique skill or passion? Can you develop that one skill? Yes, it's a big deal. Sure, you can. Can you connect it with Allah, your Lord Subhanahu wa Ta'ala? Can you manage success? Sometimes even failures at times, because sometimes we have the fear of failing. Can you manage failure too? Will you serve humanity and be merciful to Allah's creations? Yes, you can do it. Positive affirmation. From this moment, inshallah, yes, yourself getting transformed, evolving, refining, metamorphosing, reorganizing, and repositioning your purpose to align with what Allah has created you to do for the betterment of mankind. And yes, all that matters is you. Remember that this is about your own self-discovery. It starts with you. It's only when you have it that you can give to others. So I want you to ponder on these things and then go back to the drawing board and discover yourself so that you can, live your dream. You can get back and live a purposeful life, be fulfilled, be contented, be happy, and then be of great benefit to mankind. I want to say thank you to my colleague, Pharmacist Sheson Karim, for giving me the template to work on this topic, which was really, really, really useful for me, and also Coach Olagoke for holding me along. I also want to thank all of you for being part of this Muslim Mentorship Connect monthly masterclass. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khairan. Thank you so much, Ma, for that insightful session. MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Well done. Well done.
Beautiful.
Do we have any questions? Do we have any questions here? Please drop any of your questions. So I've had a lot of people sending me messages on WhatsApp saying that you're making so much sense and you're hitting home all the pointers. So for me, I would love if we could have the slides of the lecture. So is that going to be possible, Mark? Can we have the slides for the lecture?
Sure, because you have actionable points on them, so you can actually use them at your own turn, inshallah.
Okay, so somebody is saying that everything was well explained and very beautiful presentation. Jazakallah khairan. Everyone is saying thank you very much. I would love if you could have answered that. Somebody said you are great and you did well. And you have a lot of fans here. It's like, your community of people. Okay. So the actionable point, somebody has noted for us. Thank you very much, Mr. Adeola Kola-Mustapha. You said duas, take action, reinvent, reposition, and be consistent. And be consistent, mashallah. So I would check, so somebody asked that what do we do with the classwork?
Oh, with the classwork, it's for you to be able to reflect. You know, the teacher in me would want to take my pen and mark you down. But you have to do your self-assessment. This is self-discovery. You have to assess yourself. Self-evaluation.
Don't tempt that to tell you to submit your notes.
Oh, I'm sure if I say I should submit, they should submit. There will be culpable people that have not written anything.
Definitely, those backbenchers.
Yes, please.
Some of them, they are magnetic learners. They don't have to write. Okay, so I have a question for you. And the question says, how can I permanently solve self-doubt and low self-esteem issues? The questions are coming in like, why you people should wait now? So somebody's asking, how can they solve permanent self-doubt?
Okay. So Alabi wants to take that question.
Okay.
Shall I take? Yeah, you want to take that question, ma'am, or shall I take it?
Yes, sir. You can take it, sir.
All right. Mashallah, thank you. We all have doubts. We all have self-doubt. There's no question about that. No one is perpetually confident in every situation. You'll always be faced with something that will challenge you, that will challenge your ability. But the one thing you need to do is, one, believe in yourself. I think Dr. Kola-Mustapha said earlier, if you don't believe in yourself, it is difficult for others to believe in you. If you're a manufacturer of a product, imagine if you created or made a product you're trying to sell to the market. If you don't believe in the performance and you're not sure even of the performance of that product, why should anybody buy it? It's as simple as that. So to deal with issues of self-doubt, find out what it is that you're doubtful about. Is it something physical, perhaps? Is it something emotional, perhaps? Is it something psychological, perhaps? And then you try and address it from those various perspectives. If it's emotional, maybe you need someone to coach you through your emotional bottlenecks, whatever they might be. If it's something psychological, perhaps something from the past, you may need also somebody to counsel you through that. A counselor may do the trick for you. A coach may do the trick for you. A mentor may do the trick for you. If it's something physical, perhaps something more of a physical challenge to yourself or within your environment, one, try and recognize what that physical challenge might be, or within the environment, then step out of your comfort zone, I think is what I would say in that regard. Be courageous, whatever happens, until you begin to deal with it yourself. No one else can remove that self-doubt for you. But you have to understand first that you cannot deal with it in one swoop fell. It doesn't happen. Gradually, slowly, but make the first step and pray for guidance, pray for direction, pray for Allah's support. He will lead you the right path. But you have to show that effort first, take the initiative, start out. Once you step out of your comfort zone, everything has become easier from that point on. You see meet challenges along the way, but the way you've dealt with the previous ones will give you a good lesson in life to deal with the upcoming challenges. You cannot foresee them, but they will come from time to time. You just one, make the effort and pray for guidance and step out. That's the way I would say I'll deal with that.
Yeah, mashallah. That's it. And the truth is that for the rest of your life, there will always be new situations, new doubts, new challenges to overcome. So along the way, that's the template to use every time. You cannot overcome doubt and all of that. It will come. New for every new place you go, there's going to be new assessment, new things. But with this advice, you shall
Yeah.
overcome. Okay, so
Yeah.
Dr. Kola-Mustapha, I want you to take this because you talked about it in your presentation. The question says, number one, there are two different questions, but they're similar. So the first person asking, is it possible for an individual to not have innate skill? And the other person is asking, what's the difference between innate skills and passion? So someone is asking, is it possible for me not to have any innate skill at all? I'm just good at talking. And then I
Well,
found out that
I don't. It's impossible. It's just that you've not found what that innate skill is. We all have something we are good at doing. It's just that you're overthinking it.
Yes.
There's something you're good at doing. You're just overthinking it. You're thinking it's one eureka thing. I found it or something. There's something that it could be writing. It could be speaking. There's something about you. It could be I naturally when I see articles, the first thing I spot is typos. That's I can spot typos immediately. That's in it. I don't have to sleep once I see something, once a presentation comes up, the first thing, I'm not looking for it. I'm not looking for the mistakes. But it just comes to me naturally. So I'm sure you have that innate skill. It's not possible. It's just that you're overthinking it. Just sit down, be calm, relax, and then try it. It could be cooking. It could be mixing drinks. It could be at work. It could be the person that networks every other person to the other person. Yes.
Yeah.
It could be that you're the one that, you're the one that drives everyone to kill deadlines, submit things on the dot of time. You can't say you don't. Yes.
Can I also comment there very quick? You're right, absolutely. And innate skills is what every and each one of us have in one way or another. It is not teachable. It is your natural aptitude. You have to be good at something, and it's about recognizing that natural aptitude. It's not an attitude, it's not a hard skill, it's not a soft skill. Both of us are teachable. Technical skills are teachable, soft skills are learnable. But your natural aptitude is your innate skill, something you do without even thinking about. And you're quite spot on to say usually people overthink it, or they worry that maybe it's not right, maybe I shouldn't do it. The fear of failure sometimes actually holds you back from projecting and demonstrating your natural aptitude, which is your innate skill, to be able to get up and do, having the natural resilience, perhaps, having the natural tenacity, perhaps, to deal with otherwise challenges that some people run away from. You face it straight on without even thinking of any consequences. You damn the consequences. It's part of your passion as well. When you have the natural aptitude to do something, it becomes the driving force behind everything else that you do. You don't have to think twice about it. You just go for it. But recognizing it is very crucial.
Yes. So somebody just saw something quickly in the chat box that said, as for the typos you see, what problem can you solve with it? A lot of problems. You don't write with, you don't present things to people reading with all sorts. I think it's this times that we consider typos as something that you should just gloss about. It is a no-no. You don't place an advertisement and the first thing we see is that you're trying to spell teacher or you're trying to spell your product and you've written it it's a put off, please.
Yes.
I want you guys to know it's a put off. And it's got to do with the way the new generation, they go about writing things with the wrong spellings, saying they're doing texting formats.
Yeah,
Don't do that.
Short and I actually also have to say as well, actually, on that same issue of typo, yes, you're very spot on, good at spotting it. I think that comes to you naturally as a teacher. I am also in the same position. When somebody presents anything to me, I don't have to read it, but the typos stand out straight away. Now, applying that to the world of work. If you're applying for jobs and you have typos all over your CV, no recruiter will look at your CV, right? It shows two things. One, you are not a careful person as you've described. You say, I'm very careful, I'm disorganized, I'm organized, I'm this, I'm that, and yet the CV is saying otherwise. Oh, I am hardworking, I work with minimum supervision and all that. Yes, your CV is saying you're lazy, because to submit a CV or resume or covering letter with typos on it means you have not even bothered to do the auto spell check, right? Microsoft Office has auto spell check for your word spell check. If you can't even bother to read through it yourself, how about just putting the auto spell check there? So if you can't do the spell checker on it and you send it out, it means you're lazy. It means you're not as committed as you're saying in your CV. It means you're not as organized as you're saying in your CV. It's a clear message to any employer. And it's a put off.
You said you can proofread for people. So it's something you can do. You can, if you proofread for people, you can actually earn money from that.
Right, absolutely.
MashaAllah. Dr. Mustapha, the second question says the difference between innate talent and then passion.
Well,
all different.
It's there's a thin line. Your innate skill is what comes to you naturally. Your passion is what you like to do, what you enjoy doing. You enjoy it. Anytime you're doing, you're happy, you're fulfilled. You don't need somebody to tell you that go and do it. Just like people that like to cook. You won't even tell them before they give you an invite to come and eat or taste what they have made. So that's what you're passionate about doing. Or you like gardening.
Somebody's asking, and this can be answered by both of you or any of you. So somebody's asking, is it good if their motivation is financial, if their motivation is money? And another person is saying, what's the difference between making impact and making money?
Difference between making
impact in people's life,
right,
and then
okay. Can I ask Dr. Kola-Mustapha to answer the first part of that, and I'll throw in what I think of it.
Okay.
Making impact and making money.
And then the question of is it good, is it bad if the motivation is money?
It's not bad. One of the things that can motivate you, of course, is making money. You're going to pay your bills anyway, so you have to make money. Would you be working and not making money? Who pays the bills? Of course, it's trying to cream out what you're trying to do to make money. Why would you want to make money, please? Because money is a tool for you to pay your bills, really. Yes. So it's, and then between impact and money, of course, well, impact will be the first thing you want to say you want to do. You want to impact people's lives. Then money comes along the way. And then, of course, who doesn't like alerts nice alerts get into their accounts? It's like a byproduct. The money is the byproduct of your impact.
Yeah. I think, please, may I chip in here? I know for somebody who is a social entrepreneur, I know this struggle. But at a point, you have to sit there and realize that this is my passion. I have a passion to help people. I have a passion to do this. But money is a fuel. And I think that is the way you should look at it. We don't look at money, or speak for myself, I don't look at money as the end result, as the goal. Money is not the goal. Money is just a resource to make me achieve the goal. So I know that there's a bigger dream to make impact. There's a bigger goal. But for me to reach the impact, I have to make money too. So the goal is always bigger than the need. The goal is always bigger than money. The goal is always bigger than my ego. The goal is always bigger than everything else. However, it doesn't mean that everything else is not important. It doesn't mean that everything else is not important. You want to be like celebrities giving money and helping people in villages, but you need money to go help those people. So you need to understand that, yes, naturally, this question comes in, even in religion. There's a very thin line between it. And most of us as Muslims, we have money phobia. that we're so afraid of making money or wanting to make money. We're afraid of it. Like, you go to fire, the camel head, that needle. There's so many hadith about it. What is truth is that zakat is a pillar of Islam, and you need money to pay zakat. So it's just understanding. That's what I'm looking at it from. I want to pay zakat as a form of. So the goal for me is to pay zakat as part of my spirituality. So the goal is not to have money. No, I want to have money to pay zakat. I want to have money to do sadaqah. I want to have money to do this, to achieve these goals. So it makes it, so the goal is, so it takes away whatever evil, root of evilness. And then I know, because I'm a Muslim, I must be very careful that the money is not the goal. So I'm not desperate for it in a way that I'll do anything for it. If I do any nonsense for it, it may defeat the goal. And Dr. Alabi talked about the goal, even as a leader. The goal must be, you must recognize what the goal is and reach for it and get everybody on your team to understand that this is the goal and it is bigger than everything else. That's the way I am able to cope with this money and passion question.
There is nothing wrong with money itself. I mean, you said it, Mutia, that money, as we say in the English world, is the root of all evils. Actually, money is not the evil. It is the love of money. It is the love for acquiring so much. It is the love for amassing so much so that you don't know when or where to stop seeking. Therefore, the greed becomes the evil, because the greed is a byproduct, a product, in fact, central product of the love for so much wealth. And when people pursue wealth to the point that they become blinded by reality, they become blinded by what is more important. One, your connection to your Lord. Two, your responsibility to society, to your family, to your parents, to your family, to society. But you're simply just collecting and amassing and collecting. You're not just collecting for yourself, but you're competing with others who are in the same space to amass so much wealth. That is where it becomes a problem. Yes, you want to do good. Yes, you want to pay your zakat. Yes, you want to pay sadaqah. Yes, you want to help charity. You need the means to do that. And if you are not earning it, somebody else must be paying for it. So if you have bigger charities who will support you to do your charitable work, i.e. to fund you to go into the communities, the villages, the rural area, to support them, that's fine. But what if you don't have that funder? Then you have to find the means to earn it legitimately, to earn it in the halal way. That's what you're doing. So long as what you're doing is legit and is halal, nothing wrong with that. If Allah gave you the means to acquire a $2 million contract today and it is halal, by all means sign on that dotted line and go for it. That's it. Right? Because there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, the Lord bless you. The Lord bless you. He didn't place us here to suffer. He didn't place us here to shy away from the means to live, because He knows we have to live and He's providing us those means to live. If He didn't provide you with the cattle or the camel, you will not be able to carry the goods through the hot desert. You will not say, oh, because I've got 2 camels, therefore I don't need a third one. What if you need a third one just in case one got tired along the way? If it provides you the means to get a third one, by all means, go for it. So the means are there. If the means isn't really what matters, it's the end that you're getting, where you're going to, what you're trying to achieve. If you can stand before your Lord at the day of judgment to say, with the wealth you bless me, Allah, I did this and did that. I provided that borehole well for some community who didn't have clean water. I built a masjid. I built a school. I built that. I built that. And I didn't do it just to be seen to be doing those things. I did it because I want those people also to benefit from the wealth and for the benefits that Allah has given me. That's it. It is the intention behind what you do that counts. It is not the actual physically observable activities or actions. What's the intention behind you going for that $2 million contract? Is it because you just want to get you so you can buy yourself a fantastic mansion and a flashy car? No. Yeah, that's wrong.
Banana Island stuff. Okay, so
Yes.
Dr. Kola, the question I'm throwing at you now says, what if nothing seems to be motivating me? Like, although not doing bad, but it's just naturally neutral. Somebody who's not, there's some people that don't seem to be motivated that well, or they think they are not motivated by anything. Nothing motivates them.
Most of the things we think are all just self-limiting. It's our own thoughts. We're the ones holding ourselves back.
Yes.
You can't say there's nothing that will motivate you. If Coach Olagoke, if I send a 50K alert to your account now, I'm sure you'll be all smiles before we finish this program.
I'm out of bed.
Just like that. No, you can't say there's nothing that it can be money. It can be a simple good words. Somebody, seeing you and saying, "Oh, how are you today?
Yes.
Are you okay? Are you fine? Or somebody, just a phone call can even can motivate you. Or we've seen, oh, we saw your poster. That was beautiful. Well done. That was awesome.
Yes.
You can't say there's nothing that motivates you. If you're a student, if you do a test and you get 20 over 20, that's a great motivation. So you can't say there's nothing. You can't say you are inundated to feelings. You have feelings. And that's what that motivation is trying to bring out of you.
Yes.
So someone asked that how can they overcome fear? And as you were talking about motivation, I realized that even fear itself is a motivation. The fear of poverty is the reason that I am not sleeping in bed right now. So they're asking, how can they overcome fear?
Well, I can say, I'll start, Dr. Alabi will finish it up. I think if what is the greatest fear? I will fail. If I fail, I'll get up again and do it again.
Yes.
What's it? The fear is that people will laugh at me. They've been laughing at people since 1980. So if they laugh, whoever is laughing at you, when you dust yourself again and you put all in it and you make the best of it, that same person will come back to congratulate you.
Yes.
So if you fear that, or maybe everybody will think I'm posing or something, no, just make sure that you are modest. You're doing things within the confines of Allah. Anytime you're doing anything, just go back to your Lord. Just know that even with the earnings, that's why we say rizqun tayyiban halalan mubarakan. We want pure wealth. We want something that will be blessed, because we know that even during when we die in the hereafter, we're going to account. There's accountability. We're going to account for everything. Even during the times of the Prophet ﷺ, the Sahaba Abdurrahman bin Auf, who was very rich, they said he was one of the last people to get in when they were calling people that would enter Jannah, because it was accounting. In fact, I heard that the story I heard was that the day he heard that he had to account for so much, all the merchandise he had that day, he gave it out. So we are accountable. We are Muslims. We're not just like any other people. We are Muslims, and we are guided by principles. And whatever you do, you need to uphold those principles. Don't get carried away. It's not just about making money. There's something about self-fulfillment. There's something about seeking the pleasure of Allah, whatever you do. So Dr. Alabi can continue.
Well, I probably don't have a lot more to say, but just maybe bring some clarity to some of the points we've already been talking about. One, fear itself should be a motivator. If you fear to be homeless, you will get up and do something to prevent homelessness. If you're fearful of being poor, you will do something to get up and do something to avoid being poor, or certainly not starving. For me, it's all about understanding exactly what Dr. Mustapha said. Who are you? And try to understand who you are. Somebody put on the screen just a few seconds ago to say they have a vision and a goal, but they're still struggling to understand who they are, can't define themselves. Well, I have to say quickly to that, if you still don't understand who you are, you probably don't have a clear purpose or goal as yet. And in which case, if you set out to pursue those, you may not get to where you really want to be. First is to understand who you are. Understanding who you are means recognizing your capability, recognizing your capacity, recognizing where you need to build up on those capacities. If you have that, then you may be able to reshape your purpose and redefine your mission. And having that means having the innate skills, the ability, the passion, the drive towards to drive you towards that purpose. So that's what it means. There's nothing wrong with being fearful. As I said, no one is 100% confident in every situation. You will always find something that will trip you up. It's about how you respond to it. Getting up as a speaker in front of an audience to speak, however much experience you've been, even the seconds you walk onto that stage, your nerves will kick in. So nothing wrong with being, yes, there's nothing wrong with being nervous, but understanding, recognizing it and understanding them and being able to respond, applying the right strategy right there. If it means pausing and taking a deep breath for the first 3-5 seconds before you open your mouth, do that. If it means moving from one side of the stage where you're just standing to the next side of the stage, do just that. You've bought yourself a few seconds there to relax your muscles, to relax the nerves, and they'll keep coming up, but it's about understanding yourself. So that brother, those, I didn't see the name, who said they have a vision and a goal, but they can't determine or define who they are themselves. To me, it means you have not understood your purpose yet. Because once you understand your purpose, you will see where you fit into that bigger picture. The impact you want to create is one thing. The money or the means to get you there is another thing. And I said, as Sister Mutia said, I think sometimes we don't quite get to understand what is the difference between the impact and the means that we want to deliver in the meantime. If impact becomes important to you, you will do everything that is necessary to achieve that impact, because guess what? That is where you're making a difference. Or as far as you're concerned, your goal is to make a difference in someone else's life. So if you create that positive impact, you will do what is necessary. If it means waking up at 3 a.m. instead of 4 a.m., you will do just that. If it means not going to bed until 1 a.m., you will do just that because you know exactly where you're going. That is your purpose. And it's important to clearly define that purpose because it gives you the focus of attention, the focus of efforts to get the right outcome for yourself and for the community you're trying to influence.
Okay, mashallah. For you, Dr. Alabi, I have a question that says, how does one deal with overcome a weak link in leadership? I believe that's the question. So the person says, how can one undo a weak link in the chain of leadership?
A weak link
is the weak link could be a team member
yeah.
or the trait. So I don't know which one it is. So they say that how can they undo it? So if it's a team member.
Okay. So if you identify a member of your team as being a weak link, well, it's a problem. It's a challenge because it's not going to help you get to where you're going, certainly not at the time that you determine. And it'll also affect the the performance of others on that team. So the first thing you do is recognize where the weak link is, or the weak link is. Try and identify the issues around them that's making them not perform to the tasks or activities they've been set. Perhaps it's an issue not even within the work environment. Perhaps it's an issue within their own personal life. You must understand that. So again, which is why I said earlier, don't discuss issues of personal weaknesses of an individual within the team environment. It will be embarrassing and they will not want to open up. So once you recognize that weak link, pull them aside, have a one-to-one conversation. That's where your mentoring as a leader comes into it. That's where your coaching as a leader comes into it. So you're trying to get to understand what is the reason behind their underperformance, why they are weak. You're trying to get to understand whether it's an issue of perhaps the need for additional support, or whether it's the case of, well, they shyfully accept a task that they were not capable of performing because they don't want to be seen to be weak. And you recognize that as a leader, you say, all right, so you're good at this point. The Peter principle in management says everyone grows to their point of competence. Remember that I just said? It's called the Peter principle. Everyone grows to the point of their incompetence. In other words, you're competent only up to a certain point. There'll come a point that you're no longer going to be competent. So you either run away from it or you take it on and say, all right, I need to learn that. And that's what you do. So for the weak link in this case, if it's an issue of further support, perhaps in terms of skills, then you identify their training needs. That's what it means. Development and training needs, that's what it is. You support them that way. If it's something personal, private to their life, perhaps then that may be something you can actually give them time off, right? Legitimately say, you know what, take the next 2 or 3 days off to go and cool, chill. Deal with that issue in your family setting, come back when you're ready. Because you know them by the time they come back, they will have hopefully dealt with that. Maybe not completely, but will have resolved it to some extent. They'll give them some sort of confidence. If your employees, if your team members don't have the right home and personal environment, they will not function well. It's as simple as that. Likewise, even if you're self-employed yourself, you're a business owner yourself, if your family circumstances are not supportive, you're not going to do so well in your business either. So having the right supportive network goes back also, not just a professional network, but your own family and personal circumstances as well. If it is a case that actually this person demonstrably is not up to the task, you can reassign them. Always find something else for them to do. So don't leave them in the position that they feel worse off than where they were before they came onto the team. So if it is the case that actually, you know what, we didn't see this task is actually beyond this person and it's our fault. So therefore, admit, as I said earlier, be open and be honest. So if it is the leader in this case that is wrong, admit that actually, you know what, I had assumed that you are able to or capable of doing that, but obviously that is not the case. Well, we can either put you on the training program over time, support you with everything you need to do it. It might be even issues of tools and equipment. Okay, now in the lockdown, everybody is asked to work from home. How many employers have bothered to ask whether the employees have ergonomically designed desks and chairs? We assume that they can work effectively sitting on their sofas. And that causes issues. Yeah, and that causes issues for backache and all sorts of things later, injuries, etc. By the time they come back to work eventually. How many employers bother to ask whether you have the right connectivity at home? How many employers bother to ask whether you have the right software, updated software to work in the same manner as you would in the work environment? Many employers didn't bother to do that because this is an emergency, unfortunately, and it was readily assumed that in the modern digital world, we're all capable. We all have the right equipment. We all have the right software. We all have the right chair and desk. And yes, in fact, we have a spare room somewhere, right? Exactly. Those were assumptions that were made in this current lockdown situation. No one had time to check that. But some responsible employers have come back to say, oh, by the way, how are you getting on? Even a phone call, as Dr. Mustapha said earlier, even a simple phone call to check on that individual. How are you doing? How are you getting on with that work? It's not about setting targets and goals and targets and goals. Have you met it? Have you met it? Why not? No, it shouldn't be about that. Well, what is the situation? Is there something else that we can do to help you work more effectively? That is how you lead. It's not about criticizing all the time. Yes, if somebody is funny, to say, well, okay, you've not done so well there. Again, it's about the honesty and the openness. You've not done so well there, but let's see what the issue is. You don't then chastise them and penalize them and harass them because of their poor performance. So if you want better outcomes, you got to invest in the time and the resources to support the courage and motivate them. Someone asked a question earlier as well. I saw on the screen. How do we keep the motivation up all the time? Well, you don't.
I want that question with somebody who also said that their self-belief is not constant. And this is for you, both Dr. Kola-Mustapha. I practically think how do you maintain your self-belief? How do you maintain your motivation constantly? That's the next question, and it's for both of you.
Dr. Mustapha, please.
Okay, I'll start, but Dr. Alabi would use his own experience to answer the question.
Well, personally, I would say you cannot maintain it at 100% level constantly. It's not possible. Yeah, it's not possible. But the one thing is to recognize where it is dipped and then see what you can do about it to get it back. You never get it to the same level every time. Otherwise, you'll be working overtime. It means to do that means you're ignoring certain other important aspects of your life. And which is why I say you cannot keep that same level of performance. I said earlier, the Peter principle says everyone performs to the point of their incompetence. So sometimes that incompetence may be the point where your motivation has dipped and you start having some sense of self-doubt and procrastination, for example. Then you need to go back and check. But you can never be at the same level all the time. Imagine if you're beating the same drum and play the same musical instrument to the same level of tone, pitch all the time, you become deafening to the ears after a while. So you can't. So that's why it rises up in the rhythm, it goes up and down. And that is life. Life goes up and down. So your motivation cannot be up, 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 up. There's bound to be a time that will come. And maybe that's the time for reflection. Maybe that's the time to cool down a bit. Take a step back, relax, go for a walk, go and play football, go and play tennis, go and see your grandma in the village. Maybe that's the time, yeah. Because you cannot operate at that level all the time. You suffer burnout. That's what you call it in modern management, no? Yeah, we don't want that either. That's what I was saying, my dear madam, Dr. Mustapha. I believe you have something else to say to that.
Yes, it's just anything you have, anything is sinusoidal. It can even go up and then plateau.
Yes.
It's left at a consistency.
Yes.
You may need something else to move to when you peak. You may need something else to, to increase again, or it just stays at that position. Nothing is. You cannot have it just on the same level all through. So it's for everybody. It's not just you.
It's for everybody. Because even Syria, if you look at the Islamic history and all the stories of the Prophet that were told, you constantly see that the Quran comes with consistent motivation at different times. The messages are always different. When Allah was going to reveal, the frustration of a particular prophet and his people was so much that even though they were people of faith, they screamed and said, when is the help of Allah coming? Because their iman has dipped at that time. And what did Allah do? The new motivation assured them that the help of Allah is near. See, the truth is that Allah has promised us that He will continue to try us. And things will never go smoothly. You are never going to be motivated 100% all the time. You are never going to have self-belief all the time. Your iman will dip. Everything will dip. But recognizing, like they said, take a walk, take a break. And this is where a lot of psychologists and people would recommend that you should keep a journal, particularly if you find that this is consistent to you. Because one of the things I read, the person kept saying that it's quite consistent. You need to keep a journal to note, like they say, note where the dip happens. Where do you dip? For some of us, it is lack of self-awareness that is making us not see what is causing the dip. Let me give you an instance. There was a time I realized that there's a particular color of hijab that I wear that actually dips my mood. It was one terrible, ugly brown. And I will wear it, and throughout that day, my mood will just be tanked. And one day, I don't know what happened. Somebody was saying, oh, I don't like this color. And I'm like, oh, I don't like brown too. And the person looked at me and said, you're wearing brown. And I looked at it, and it was that ugly brown I was wearing. That was the last day I wore that hijab. Because apparently that color just tanked my mood. And since that day, I've started paying attention to colors. When somebody sends me and say, Sister Mutia, this hijab color, I say, be fair. Now, I didn't think that color was that powerful. I'm a teacher. I recognize the way you paint your class. Though I know that, but I didn't even know it was so bad that it affected the clothes I wear. So self-awareness would solve it. I'm taking a lot of notes, journaling, paying attention, taking time to reflect. We are a people of reflection. Will definitely help you note why you are having those dips. And you'll be surprised that sometimes those dips may actually be related to one simple thing that you just have to take away, but you don't know because you don't know.
Yeah, color does affect moods and influences behavior. That's a fact. Psychologically, is known. My tricky question to you with this: what if you're in a house where your husband likes yellow and you want blue, and you painted your wall? How do you paint the inside of your house? One side yellow and one side blue.
My alhamdulillah that yellow and blue complement, but
okay.
This is blue, and it is my
okay. Mashallah. Then you'll be pink.
That's been popping up. Okay, there's a question that's been popping up, and the person says you have not answered it.
Almost our time.
That's the last one.
But here's a question that I'm seeing. My question is, anytime I try to answer questions of who I am, I realize I'm getting something like I'm not generous. I know I'm generous, I care, but I don't know how to relate it to, I find it difficult to relate it to my career. So she cares about other people, she's generous, and she's finding it hard to relate to her career. So how does she make a balance? I think this person, yeah, that's it. Then I have a question for Dr. Alabi that says that the person asks that why do leaders act like they don't have any weaknesses?
Yeah, Shall I answer that first and then ask Dr. Mustapha to answer the first part? Why do leaders feel they don't have weaknesses? Because they're not true leaders.
They act like they don't have weaknesses.
Because they're not true leaders. They're not honest to themselves. And that's imposter syndrome that I mentioned earlier. Everyone has a weakness. You may not want to project that openly because you're the leader, you want to be seen to be leading the team and being courageous in every situation, but you cannot be courageous in every situation. There's times when your weakness will show. However much you try to disguise it, it will show. The trouble is, if it shows up trickly on you when you don't expect it, then that may be the time that you let the rest of the team down. I said earlier, no one is strong in every area. No one is strong in every aspect of any particular purpose. There'll be times or areas where you're particularly good and where you're not so particularly good. Yes, some people say psychologically you must not show, or you must not show your emotions as a leader to the rest of your team. But actually, you know what? Find one or two people that you can really trust in that team, confide in, and let out. That's it. Everyone has a weakness. You may not want to show it to the whole team, but at least one or two people you can choose as confidants that you can say, oh, look, I'm having an issue with Joe. I'm having a problem with James, right? But you will not go and approach James in that regard. You tell somebody else to say, by the way, I find this issue tricky. How do I deal with it? Because you don't want to be seen as a weak leader to the rest of the team. You find somebody else you can confide in, that hopefully together you can walk through it. And if it's something to do with your own personal life, yes. So there are reasons why some leaders don't show it or don't want to show it, because they have found other means, maybe unethical, to deal with it. I would not want to be seen to be too arrogant here, but imagine what drives some people to go drinking or go smoking, all sorts of things, taking substances that they would not otherwise take because they're trying to use that as means of suppressing how they really feel, and which again will impact them in the longer term, themselves and their team and the goal. That's what I was saying. So that's why I said they're probably not real leaders in that sense, because they're camouflaging it, they're covering up, they're operating within other a shield or a screen, which is not real. And that's why I said they're not real leaders in that sense. I hope I answered that question sufficiently. I want to make sure Dr. Mustapha has time to answer the first.
The question could also come from a place of a leader that is being resented by the followers who are looking at him like, why is he always strong? Why does he not have weakness? Why is he always somebody who is authoritarian or somebody who's always on other people's neck and doesn't see that they have challenges too?
Yes.
So this could be asking, why is he acting like God?
Someone who is oblivious to the challenges or the feelings of the team members, and or deliberately ignoring them anyway. Oh, that's not my problem. Keep your problem at home. Don't bring your problem here. Keep that one at home between you and your children or your husband or your neighbor. That doesn't come here. No. But the trouble is, if you do that as a leader, you're not encouraging that person, neither are you supporting them to perform to their fullest, to contribute to their fullest on the team goal. That's what I would say. Sorry, Dr. Mustapha, I'm so, you see, this is a lecturer to another lecturer. You know, we like to talk. I used to be in academia many years back, so if you give me the floor, I could talk from now until Fajr tomorrow. Mashallah, so please.
You do all the talking. Thank you so much.
Okay, I can answer the question on the second question.
You
Yes.
have the last.
Yes. So you've highlighted your personal habits and traits. Being generous, caring about others. Those are your personal traits.
Yes.
And then you're saying you cannot link it with your career. Your career would need your talents. That's different from your habitual traits.
Yes.
Your talents, what you can bring to the table,
Yes.
writing skills, speaking, good public speaking skills, cooking skills, gardening, anything that it's different from your emotions. Being generous, being caring about others have to do with emotions. Maybe somebody else has some. I think that's why you're saying you cannot link it with your career, Because when you're making something with career, it's something what you're going to bring to the table to make the work progress. If being generous, is it with your teammates, maybe you give them gifts all the time, and then it motivates them to want to work on that team. Of course, that would leap your career forward. It's not that you're bribing them or anything, but what you're doing is, they think that you're a thoughtful person and they want to be around you. They want to work with you. They want to be in your team. Or, your rep will say, let us do everything to make this thing succeed.
Make sure it work, yes.
So your generosity can actually propel your career forward. Depends on the environment you're putting this to. Depends on the work environment. Some environments are they could be toxic. They could actually be devoid of emotions. Just do what you need to do and get out of here. In that aspect, you may not be able to put that in. Sister Flavia is saying that yes, being generous and bringing your true self to your team members will generally be appreciated and indeed propels your career. So I think she's validating what I'm saying too. So whatever you have, still put it in. It makes you a good collaborator, a good team player.
All the skills that you say you're good at, Barakat. I think the question was asked by Sister Barakat. And
Yes.
like you said earlier, I believe we are overthinking this. Sister Barakat, being generous, being caring about others are part of interpersonal skills.
Yes.
And interpersonal skills are part of the soft skills you need to do well at work. You may not be seeing that you are using the skill to succeed because they are not hard skills. And you are taking them for granted because they are easy for you.
Yes.
True.
Know your worth.
Who will not get promotion? You will get a promotion not only because you are a hard worker. You will get a promotion above somebody who is as much a hard worker as you are just because of these skills, these tiny things. People will trust you more at work. You find yourself in a place of leadership and people will be like, there's just something about you. Nobody can really place it because it is not a hard skill. And that's what soft skills, that's the leverage that soft skills give to you. You have them. Some people have to learn generosity. Some people have to learn empathy. You have them as innate talent. And that's why you're taking it for granted. You're already leveraging it at work. You just don't know. You're already using them. Now, if you sit back and reflect and realize that, oh, these are strengths I can leverage big time, then you can just go do a research. How can I leverage generosity at my workplace? Put your workplace, if you are say, for instance, you are an engineer. How can I leverage generosity as a skill to improve my career as an engineer? You'll be surprised the resources that will come to you. But I personally believe that you are already leveraging on those skills. And it's probably one of the reasons you still have a job in the first place. You'll be surprised that's one of the reasons. I know that there are a couple of jobs I got because I only smile nice. I'm like, my children don't like the last teacher because she doesn't smile. Her face is just always hard. And like, they just like you, even your smile. And I'm like, okay. And it was a memo to my brain every time we're going there, smile, smile. You'll be surprised how, so for me, the moment I realized that my smile is a icebreaker and it works, I don't enter anywhere without a smile. Particularly if I need a job there. I don't enter anywhere that it's part of my work. The only place I enter with a frown is my house or anywhere that I'm going to show them paper, maybe the bank, because I know the smile will not work there. But so I don't think so. I think you're already leveraging on it. Like she said earlier, you're overthinking this. A lot of us are overthinking our strengths. We don't think is enough, particularly because we live in a society where external validation is everything. And what the society is validating at one quarter of the year is always different from another quarter of the year. So this year, what is reigning may be public speaking. And so everything that you are good at, you rubbish it because public speaking is the in thing. No, public speaking is good, but definitely it doesn't rubbish your own innate talent. It doesn't rubbish it at all. It doesn't make it less. And I say this all the time. My whole life, I was called a talkative. My whole life. And people will look at me as if I'm a damaged good because I couldn't keep quiet. But look at me now. Like literally, I live in a world where being talkative is a skill, is a strength. Don't rubbish your talent. I used to pray to be not talkative. I used to pray to not be talkative. But my mom continues to say, so just won't say rubbish, just don't say rubbish. And she helped me. She really did, because I was like, okay, I can't. My mom keeps saying, there's nothing wrong with you. You are who you are. Just don't say rubbish. Just don't say rubbish. And this is how I got to creative and being talkative good thing. MashaAllah, alhamdulillah. Can we have the closing part, the parting words from our speakers so that we can end this and we can go for Zuhr, inshallah?
Well, alhamdulillah, the whole session and the conversations and the exchange has been fantastically enlightening and illuminating. As I said, I'm a learner just as I'm a tutor and a mentor. So I still learn a lot, and I've learned a lot from the whole session today. And thank you again, Dr. Kola-Mustapha, for all for the passion certainly shown through and was well projected. I don't do slides and all those things anymore. I used to work in the days when we used to have auto reversal slides that you put on the carousel and the carousel projector and all that. But me now, we have all the wonderful technology, and I still write. So that's right. I still write notes. But it's been wonderful indeed. I mean, for me, it's simple. The lesson here is this: if you're put in a position where you're to lead on anything, a team, a project, a program, whatever it may be, sit back, put yourself in the position of the follower first. Because if you understand where the follower is coming from, and if you understand what it is they're looking for, if you understand what they think is expected of them, you'll be able to communicate the purpose overall, share feedback overall, information overall. Don't hold back, and be open and be honest and be encouraging, be supportive, be empathizing with them wherever they need to be supported. In that sense, maybe they're not performing too well. Certainly recognize the performance where it is great, where it is not so great. Also pull them up on it, but in a kind way. Yours is to support them to be better, not to put them down, and to reward them for performance. That's very important as a leader. And for me, it's about two things essentially. It's about having the right governance structure in place and following the processes and the policies and the procedures as far as that governance framework allows, and managing the resources you have to perform the task or to pursue the purpose at hand, and doing that diligently, inshallah.
Inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan. Thank you so much. Your parting words.
Alhamdulillah. It's 1:20 p.m. here, and it's time for Zuhr as well. So I'm going to go for Zuhr Salah, inshallah. It actually is just about coming in here. I know it's already coming in your part of the world before 1 o'clock. For us, yeah, for us it comes in just after 1 here. So the rest of it for the rest of the day comes much later. We don't pray Asr until about 6:30, 6:45. So but there you go. Alhamdulillah, Ramadan is finished. We're having our iftar at 20 past 9 last week. Well, now that's no more. Alhamdulillah, so it's good.
No, you have to make that. You have to make it.
Well, I'm giving my tummy a little bit of break to recover from the long hours of battering without food or drink. It was 18 hours. It was 18 hours long. It was 18 hours long here for fasting. Yeah. So it's not easy.
Winter, and then you get to fast for 6 hours.
Inshallah. Inshallah. I will not complain. Inshallah. It's a pleasure seeing you again, Sister Mutia. Akalafi. Dr. Mustapha, nice meeting you. Alhamdulillah, we shall meet again, inshallah. Akalafi. Assalam. Bye-bye.
Okay, so Dr. Kola-Mustapha, where are you? Aha, your closing word. It has been an enlightening session with you, mashallah. In fact, one of my students has gotten insight and I'm jealous. I'm like, wait, I've been teaching you for how many weeks? One class and you've gotten insight already? You're going to make me jobless. But Jazakallah khair, it's been so amazing, amazing. Your closing word.
Yes, we've been able to find out that we are not actually clueless. We know just for us to get who we truly are and discover our purpose and then adapt that purpose to serve humanity. So the most important thing is you. So discover yourself. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi.
The most important thing is you. Whether you're a leader, whether you're a follower, whatever it is that you are very, very important. I like to say that all of us are pegs in each other's destiny. And you must at no time take your position, your position in the world for granted. You may not be sent to 1 billion people. Your own message may not be to everybody in your local government. It could just be to you and your household, or it is not a small feat at all. You must not take yourself for granted. We must realize that self-discovery is a constant journey. Nobody ever gets there. The you that you were in university is different from the you that you are now. You're changing careers. There's going to be new things to discover, new things to adjust to. So all that have been shared are resources that you will need to use on your journey, probably for the rest of your life. But I will beg you that do not close your journal and just go and sleep. Please do the classwork. You may not be submitting, however, you may not be submitting to Dr. Kola-Mustapha, but you're submitting to yourself, and you owe it. And Allah, I like to believe that Allah will ask us of everything we learn, particularly if it is to make us the best version of ourselves. Allah will ask you, that class that I say you should go, that I sent Dr. Kola to you, I particularly created that because of you, to come and give the class. What did you do with it? What did you do with it? We will send you mails. I believe Mr. Fikir is listening. Probably a month from now, we would ask you, what have you done with this class? How much have you used? How much of what you've learned have you used? Wallahi, somebody is asking, how can I overcome my fear? How can I be confident? If you only use Dr. Kola-Mustapha's slides alone, just that, without taking any class, without getting a mentor, just use what she has shared. Wallahi, 6 months from now, you will not be the same. And I'm saying this because this is what I teach. And she has shared so much. If you are somebody who can self-learn or self-teach, if you sit down with what she has shared and you just focus on, in the next 3 months, I'm going to do everything on this slide. So lie, you will not be the same. Your confidence will not be the same. Your self-esteem will not be the same. And I pray that may you be better for it. May all that have been shared be beneficial to all of us. May Allah make this sitting uja for us and not against us, particularly for our speakers and all of us that are the organizers and all of us that are here. May Allah forgive all our shortcomings and whatever it is that we have said wrongly. May He forgive us and grant us the best in this life and the akhirah. Jazakallah khair for joining me. Have had fun. I didn't know that it was fun like this, so I would have already volunteered things to be doing this.
People are asking for the slides. I'm going to share the slides with Mr. Salami, and I think it will disseminate from there.
We will probably, inshallah, drop it on the groups or send it. Since we have everybody's email, it would either be sent to your mail or we will drop it on the WhatsApp group. So check either or the two, or probably do both. Whichever one, inshallah, you get the slide. Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. Good to see you.
I thank everyone that's attended. It's about 2 hours, 30 minutes of your time. Very much appreciated. I don't take it for granted. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Where's Mr. Fikir? That's it.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum. Thanks so much, Sister Mutia, and thanks everyone. I really thank you so much. May Allah Ta'ala reward you all abundantly. Inshallah, we're going to host the video on our YouTube channel, so you can watch it there. And we're also going to share the slide with you. Thanks so much, everyone. We're deeply grateful. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.